Hello, lovely people. It is Victoria. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time on my channel, you are probably about to learn too much about me and my current and most recent mental state, so buckle up. I actually decided to put effort into my appearance today, but then whenever I do my makeup, I get that sensation that there's like fluff on my face. Do you ever get that? Thank you. I have to have my window open to have my ring light because I can't use my freaking ring light stand anymore because I think I lost a part of it, and so now I have to rest it against things. Anyway, only the most professional methods here. So I've gone longer between uploads than I intended. I made a cover yesterday of the Girl So Confusing remix with Lorde, so that is a recent upload, but I'm gonna do that thing where I like don't upload for 2 weeks and then I upload like multiple videos in a day, or like video just like back to back on consecutive days. I went on vacation a week and a half ago and I made a community post saying that I was planning on uploading basically as soon as I got back because I do still have a lot of ideas and things that I want to do. Like the first video of the Sabrina Carpenter cover trio that I started hinting at over 3 months ago and I just recently started doing. Then I had a little mini mental breakdown because I accidentally sent myself into antidepressant withdrawal. I am on a few mental health medications, including 2 antidepressants, and they are of different classes. One is an SSRI, one is an NDRI, and I'm taking the NDRI for like ADHD type symptoms, and then the SSRI is for symptoms of depression. And then I ran out of the NDRI when I was on vacation, but for some reason I just kind of slept on ordering a refill of it even when I got home, and I don't know why, but I just didn't think it was urgent. And then afterward I realized that I think my infallible logic was that because I wasn't taking it for depression, I wouldn't withdraw from it the same way. Which I guess kind of makes sense because, like, I thought because my depression was being treated that the withdrawal, like, wouldn't be as bad. But, like, they balanced different neurotransmitters in my brain, and, like, my brain was still dependent on it for that. So it was like, it kind of makes sense, but it just didn't make sense. So I started feeling super fucking weird. I had like a random panic attack at work where I just like burst into tears and was like uncontrollably shaking for a half hour. And I was kind of frustrated with myself because I've been through this before. I've been through antidepressant withdrawal before, and it is very, PSA, it is very dangerous, very scary, and I promised myself I would try not to ever put myself in that position again. Side note, because I didn't realize that I was sending myself into AD withdrawal, I've also been like drinking and stuff, and I didn't even realize that that's probably been making everything worse, because the last major time it happened was like over 3 years ago, and I knew I was going through the withdrawal from the SSRI. Yes, that was what it was. And I had been drinking a little bit, and it just makes everything 50,000 times worse. And it's dark, but I literally like walked into the ocean and was just like contemplating never coming to the surface. Like it was a really dark place. I had to get like pulled out by lifeguards. And that was right around the time of my life that I was making those like suicidal ideation Instagram stories that I talked about on a previous video, and like multiple people in my life were like super concerned, and yeah, someone was like threatening. It would be like, if you post shit like that, I'm gonna call an ambulance on you, and blah blah. Like it was a really, really dark time, and things have been better since then. And fortunately, the withdrawal has not been that bad, but it's just been mainly just a lot of emotional instability, just bursting into tears, and also just feeling like way sadder than usual. Kind of, I feel like I might be in like a little mini depressive episode. Once I realized I was going through the NDRI withdrawal a few days ago, someone close to me did have an old prescription for the same thing, but at a different dosage. And then I took it at that higher dosage because I thought since I'd gone a few days without it, I was like compensating for the lack of it in my brain. But that probably wasn't a good idea. So overall, I've just been like very chemically imbalanced, and things have just been really weird. And I felt weird going to work. Fortunately, I've had 2 days off. Going into work today, and I actually feel somewhat in control of my emotions. So that is lovely. So overall, my brain chemistry has just been completely out of fucking whack, and I've also been making some progress with the substance use front. In about 10 hours, I'm going to be officially 3 weeks sober off of marijuana, and I am really proud of that. It's actually been surprisingly easy for me to go back to being sober off that. I talked about that about like 6 months ago, but then I fell back into it, and just had a few weeks ago, I had like a kind of come to Jesus moment with someone really close to me that was just kind of reminding me that, yeah, it's not as destructive. Like the bad side of it isn't as destructive as it can be with like alcohol, but just my motivation and energy and focus and just everything is night and day when I'm using it, when I'm not. And it just overall creates this like feeling of just freedom, and I like reminding myself that I can be okay without it. But it is kind of annoying because I really don't believe that I can do a middle ground situation. I used to believe that maybe I could figure out moderation, but it's like if I'm in it, I am just in it, and I don't even realize like how deeply in it I am. But then when I'm not, when I decide not to do it anymore, it's actually like really easy, and I can just like stay that way for however long. I'm excited to see how long it's going to be. So I just don't really believe that I can do moderation anymore. So that's been a thing. So I am really happy about that. But then the thing with that became that I was kind of drinking quite a bit to low-key self-medicate the like any, anxiety and stuff, and also, yeah, to just kind of make it easier. A lot of times if I would crave it, I would drink. It's not the best habit, and I can have moderation with drinking, but it is very unpredictable. Sometimes I can set a limit of when I'm going to stop myself, and I can stop myself and we're fine, and I can stick with that. Other times it is just this like reckless disregard, and I'm just like fuck it, or I just kind of end up like sort of subconsciously choosing to just ignore those limits and push myself past those limits, and it is kind of a 50-50 crapshoot. So that I've been kind of reassessing my relationship with that. I enrolled myself in a recovery program recently because I want to make sure that I'm managing it in a healthy way, and I might at some point want to work towards full sobriety for maybe just like a little bit at a time, maybe like a week, and then maybe extend it to a month. I don't know. Then it kind of, I don't know if I'm fully ready for that, but I want to be. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to post this video. This is like this is kind of oversharing, but it's like whatever. So yeah, I've had to reassess my relationship with alcohol, mainly because I had a really emotional conversation with someone that I really love the other week, and it had been about things that I've been like holding on to for a really, really long time. And that conversation went like literally as good as it could have possibly gone. Like it actually went like so surprisingly well, and the person and I are on good terms, and we've agreed to just wipe the slate clean and move forward. And they were like really receptive to what I had to say, and it was really just, it basically could not have gone better. But I think just overall the catharsis of it, and then just like the vulnerability and just everything got me really overwhelmed, and I just made this conscious decision to completely just obliterate myself with alcohol. I was like, fuck this, we're gonna get fucked up, I don't fucking care, da-da-da, like very, very childish, very juvenile, and very irresponsible, and very reckless. And so then the shit that happens when I get like that happens, and then I wake up the next morning, I'm like, oh fuck, like I probably shouldn't have done that, because what happens? Let me tell you. Well, one, I wake up with a bunch of bruises that I don't remember getting because I end up falling a lot, and I probably don't even remember like how much I just fall over myself and how clumsy I get. So I just wake up with like multiple bruises that I don't remember getting, including one on the bottom of my left heel. And the physics of that makes no sense to me. I'm like, how the fuck did I bruise my heel? Like, what angle did I have to fall? I don't even understand. But that happened. Then I wake up having called a bunch of people a bunch of times that I don't remember, and getting texts about these voicemails that I send people that I don't remember sending. And they're like, I don't even remember what it is, but then it's like, luckily they're not like volatile or whatever, and people are responding positively to them. But I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? And just have that sense of shame and regret. that I get a lot of times that I drink too much. And it's like, maybe I shouldn't drink at all. I literally don't fucking know, but it's just, but yeah, I did enroll in a recovery program with the organization that provides the counseling that I currently receive, and that's going to kick off in a few weeks. I have my first appointment with the person, so I'm going to commit to that. I'm going to commit going to the meetings and trying to just live a more balanced life. That's kind of my first overall goal, is just consistently having balance, and then maybe ultimately working towards complete sobriety. Also, just with the withdrawal, and then just like everything, and then also the drinking kind of brings out these feelings of like guilt and insecurity, especially with like this one main person that I tend to lean on. It's like my best friend, like, in the world, and she's a fucking saint, and she's just incredible. But I was like really convinced that she was just going to get tired of me and not want to be my friend anymore, and that was really scary because that is like kind of a nightmare. And so that was a wake up call that like that has to be the last time that I do that, and the last time that I risk putting her in that position and risk losing her. Like, I need to protect not just her, but like just all the relationships in my life better, because I just don't even realize like when I get like that how much I'm playing with the connections I have with people in my life that I really love, and it's dangerous. Then I kind of brought up this feeling of insecurity, specifically around like, because I know why I consider my best friend, but then I get these insecure feelings that I didn't even fully realize until yesterday, of like, I get insecure about why she would consider me her best friend. Because like, she has a bunch of friends, and she's just like, she's so cool, and she's so smart, and she's so established in her career, and she just like never asks for anything from me. I always get in my head about like taking more than I give to people, and I want to try to give as much as I can, and she's reassured me that like, you know, being friends with you is reward enough, and I promise, and I love being friends with you, and you're a good person, and blah blah blah. I just get insecure about like what I offer the relationship, especially when, and the alcohol does not help. The alcohol makes it worse, and it creates more of a reason for me to feel like I lean on her too much. And then even aside from her, I get kind of insecure sometimes and compare myself to my friends, because a lot of them just kind of seem more established in life than I do. And I know that's dumb, and like, that's not fair to me or to them. And like, in a way, it makes me feel good about myself that like I have so many friends that are like established in their careers, and they're, you know, self-sufficient, and one of them has a master's in engineering, and the other one's getting her PhD in math, the other one's getting a master's in management, and they all like they are like making career paths for themselves, and they're like on their way. But yeah, it does kind of, I do compare myself to that, and I'm just kind of like, what am I doing, you know? And it's like, I'm trying to find a job that actually uses my degree. I have an English degree. That's cue John Mulaney. That's right, an English major. But I've just not been able to find one. I either like can't even get into an interview, or I get into the interview and then I get rejected. And a lot of times it's like, we just want someone that has more clear experience or more clear qualifications. It's like, it'd be great if I could get an opportunity to get some fucking experience and get some fucking qualifications. No one will give me a chance. And it's annoying because I didn't have the most consistent academic performance in college, mainly because like, I had a lot of undiagnosed mental health issues that weren't being treated, and I was just struggling a lot with my work ethic and what I wanted to study. And I am still in the process of getting diagnosed with ADHD, and that's always been like a huge thing that affected my work ethic and everything. And it was a problem like from a really young age, but it really, really got exacerbated when I was in college. And then going through remote learning and struggling with my substance abuse, and I had like a huge self-harm relapse in like early 2021. And I had a really traumatic event where I got robbed at knife point. But overall, I don't have that super high GPA. I don't seem probably like the most qualified person on paper, but it's annoying because I know that I'm fucking smart. I know I'm smart. I know, given the opportunity, I would do everything I possibly can to teach myself everything I need to in order to thrive in a new environment, and that I'm so adaptable, and I know I can succeed if I was just given the chance. And it's really frustrating because I am trying, and I'm, you know, working on being able to pass a drug test, and I just really want the opportunity to be able to prove myself. But it's really annoying because when you don't fit the requirements on paper to even be given the opportunity to prove yourself, even though I do. I meet the required qualifications for all of these jobs, all the minimum qualifications. It's always like, you just need a high school degree and customer service experience. And then I'm like, okay, I have both of those in spades, and I have higher education beyond a high school degree. And then it's just like, we actually don't think you're qualified or you have the skills, blah, blah. It's like, where? Can you be more specific, please? I know that I'm probably competing against people that I've like never done anything wrong in their life and have like probably never gotten a fucking B. But I don't even know, because I can't even see these people. So it's like, maybe they're more human than I thought, but I don't know. It just kind of feels like I'm just probably the least desirable person in every applicant pool, which I know is not fair. And I don't even, you don't see the other people you're competing with, but it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, and why can't anyone give me an opportunity? Because I can't go back and change the things that I was struggling with that was preventing me from doing well in school. And I feel optimistic about the fact that I would push myself to be the absolute best I can be and to thrive in any environment outside of food service that I am able to be. If I could just get into anything other than fucking food service and retail and these entry-level ass jobs, which I'm grateful for that I have a job, because I went a while being completely underemployed and not being able to make any money, and I was just getting by on the fact that I have familial support, and so I didn't like need that in order to survive, which I know is a huge privilege, and I'm very grateful for that. I just like want an actual career and the chance to actually establish a career. It's hard to like not feel hopeless about my prospects of ever being given a chance to prove myself in a new kind of work environment, even though I know that I have the skill set and the capacity to succeed in that environment. And I have the opportunity to pursue a higher position at my current restaurant job. And I told people previously that I did want to pursue that, but I'm pretty much like certain at this point that I don't actually want to anymore, even though it would come with a pay raise and it would be a good opportunity. But I would have to just do like a minimum number of hours and just a way more investment and responsibility, and just like being way more tuned into the dynamics of this place that just kind of naturally sucks the soul out of me. Even though like I had a lot of worse issues at this job where like I wasn't getting my proper breaks, and I like every single shift I worked, it was just so short staffed and so like just overwhelming, and we just had way more people than we could handle, and just everything was like working for hours past when I was supposed to take a break, because it's just like, okay, when people stop coming in, you can take a break. It's like, people are not going to stop coming in. People are not, because we are so fucking overwhelmed. And that's just like so normalized. So that's kind of subsided. And so that's less of a problem now, but it's still just kind of like, I don't want to pursue it any higher than I am right now, even though I know it would be good for me. And I know in a way that that just comes from such a place of privilege to be able to be like, I don't want to pursue this thing that's going to give me more money and more opportunities just because of my mental health. Because I know obviously that there are people that don't get that luxury, that, they have to. And I am like I should just take what I'm given. And I feel like I am in that position in life where I need to just take what I'm given and try to like make the most of it. But I just like, I don't want to. But I just want to feel like I'm using my skills in like literally any other environment and any other position. Even though I could use the pay raise, and I know people take on shit that they don't want to all the time just because they have to survive. I am privileged in that I don't necessarily have to take this in order to survive. But I also like want to not be a giant like burdensome leech on my family and the people that help me live and survive. So overall, it's just kind of been a lot. And there are videos that I've either made but haven't edited, or have been meaning to make forever but haven't started, or I've almost finished but just haven't been able to finish. And there's music that I want to continue working on, and there are different goals that I want to meet that I just haven't really started working on. And there's like, I need to start booking myself local gigs and start working that into my routine. And there's a festival that I need to apply for by the end of the month in order to possibly like be in a showcase at. And I have a whole ass second remote job that I have been completely neglecting, and my boss is a fucking saint. And so that's a whole like privilege that I feel like I'm just like squandering. And I definitely want to continue making content, and this is like a hobby and a passion of mine. So and I don't really, that pessimistic side of me doesn't ever really expect this to be a career at any point. Like, I just don't really see that for myself. It'd be cool, but like I just don't really see that happening. So I try not to like put too much pressure on myself about it. Also, I think about some of the videos that I've been meaning to make and haven't started, like that Tana video that I have been mentioning in like probably 3 other videos that I do want to make, but then other times I think about like how limited my time on this earth is, and if that is really like fulfilling to me to like entertain that brain rot, but then it's like maybe that's not fair to be that hyper intelligent about it, because there are lots of things that I do that probably rot my brain as well. I've gotten this whole complex about like wasting my life. Maybe it's also like a quarter life crisis, because I have this whole thing about like me sleeping on my life and not like living my life fully enough, and that was a big thing that spurred me to bungee jump a few months ago. And then everyone that I talked to about it was all like, you're so young, like you're so young. But I'm just kind of like not afraid, but I'm just like anticipating the day that I'm not young anymore, and that's like not an excuse, and that I still feel not fulfilled. And that's this whole thing of like, there's always going to be something that you don't feel like you're getting, or that some box that you don't think you're checking, that doesn't necessarily like speak to the value of what you put out into the world. So I did start making the first video of that Sabrina Carpenter cover trio that I would like to say is going to be finished by the end of this year, but who knows? Yeah, there are lots of things that I just don't feel like I've worked on enough, both like professionally and personally. And I always try to tell myself that I'm trying my best. But then that's a whole thing in therapy, is that the idea of enough, or the idea of my best or my 100% is like such a nebulous thing that it's kind of just something I always like measure myself against, because I can't directly like, I don't know if it's enough. But then also it's like the idea of like maybe your best and enough changes depending on the circumstances, that it's not necessarily a stationary thing. So then yesterday I called the crisis line for this organization that I get my counseling from, as well, like the kind of parent umbrella thing, and they have like different services. So I used that crisis line and just basically unloaded on the person, and I'm going to try to do that more consistently, because that's a good resource for me, as just like a maintenance tool rather than just waiting until the dam breaks. But they basically said, after I just vented for a little while, they basically were like, you sound mentally and emotionally exhausted. I was like, you know what? You're probably right. But then it becomes a whole thing of like, because of the idea of enough or giving my 100% or whatever, I almost don't feel like I have the right to be emotionally exhausted. Like I haven't worked enough for it, haven't done enough. Enough is like a low-key trigger word of mine, fun fact. So yeah, overall I'm going to try to utilize that more, and also with the recovery program in addition to the treatment I'm already getting. So hopefully that'll just help everything balance out, in addition to when the antidepressant withdrawal eventually subsides, which I think it is in the process of doing that, because I have been feeling more normal. So that's been lovely. So that's about it. So thanks for listening to this giant chaotic trauma dump. I don't know if I'm going to actually post this, because this might be a little too much. I don't know, but maybe someone out there can relate to it. But overall, this was very cathartic for me to just sit down and talk about everything, so that's been really good. So that's kind of where my mental state has been, versus me doing a bunch of the things that I am aware that I've said I was going to do or need to do and haven't done. So I wanted to share this update and let you know that I'm going to make new content whenever I make new content, and it might be super close together, it might be really far apart. I genuinely just don't even know anymore. But I really appreciate your guys' continued support, and also genuine thank you to the person that, because I don't know what is up with this mic anymore. Like sometimes it's normal and sometimes the audio is like god awful. So hopefully this audio is decent, because I do not want to film this video again. But even when it is awful, I just fucking post it anyway, because I'm like, whatever. But thank you to the person that was like, your audio is horrible, and then a heart emoji, and then was like, but I'm still watching anyway. Genuinely made me very happy. Like that kind of made my day. I was like, the fact that someone would still watch considering the horrible audio, like that's like one of the best compliments I could receive. So thank you guys so much for your continued support. Thank you if you made it to the end of this video, and I will see you when I see you.